This is a presentation on the Peace River Regional District's draft Regional Solid Waste Management Plan. My name is Veronica Bartlett, and I'm a solid waste planner with Mars and Hirschfield, and I have worked closely with the regional district to develop the draft Solid Waste Management Plan. Regional districts are required to have this kind of plan that sets out the direction for solid waste management for the next 10 years and beyond. You may have already seen my presentation on the background to the plan. In this presentation, I will highlight the regional district's plans for encouraging residents and businesses to reduce waste going to our landfills. So we call this waste diversion, and that means finding ways to landfill less waste. So we want to provide information and support to you for waste reduction, material reuse options, recycling, and managing organic waste by composting and other technologies. Looking forward, we want to promote and encourage waste reduction, reuse, and recycling. Using the Have Your Say survey, you can tell us which specific initiatives are important to you. So far, there's been a lot of support for these three initiatives. Adopting successful waste reduction campaigns used in other regions. So this can, for example, focus on reducing textile waste, such as clothing and food waste. We've also had support for promoting reuse by having share boards at our share sheds. So this is where residents can post information on large items that need a new home. We've also seen support for encouraging material and product repair activities, for example, by facilitating events such as so-called repair cafes, where broken household items can be fixed with the help of experienced volunteers. So the timing of these initiatives will depend on COVID and pandemic considerations. Over the past few years, we have experienced some real challenges with recycling. Recycling costs have increased, and accessibility to recycling options is still limited in this large rural region. Illegal dumping is also an ongoing issue, and it's been more difficult to find markets and reach economies of scale to manage these materials efficiently. The 2019 survey showed that residents really want to see the regional district provide more information on recycling options, how to segregate materials and what happens to them, and the benefits of recycling. There have also been interest in having regional district provide information on the cost of recycling and how residents can actually help to reduce these costs. The recycling of many products in BC is now the responsibility of producers of these products. Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR, is a provincial regulation aimed to shift the cost of product recycling to the producer and away from local governments. This ensures whoever designs, produces, or sells a product then takes the responsibility for recycling, so it doesn't end up in our landfills. Currently, there are over 20 EPR programs in BC for materials such as your bottles, electronics, and oil and paint. We want to advocate to have better access to EPR programs in our region and to have more materials become the responsibility of producers. Materials should be regulated regardless of whether they come from commercial or residential sources. In the draft plan, we have focused on some of the problematic waste streams where improvements can be made. And our region is agriculturally intensive, and we have 27% of BC's agricultural land reserve in the region. The use of plastics has increased substantially over the last couple of decades, resulting in a lot of agricultural plastic waste, and only a small portion of this plastic is currently being recycled, and roughly it's about 5% in Canada. And it's limited largely due to available recycling options. We want to lobby for an EPR program for agricultural plastics. And meanwhile, we will research recycling options and undertake a recycling pilot when it becomes economically feasible. If the pilot is successful, the program could be expanded. So our current Have Your Say survey have so far showed that the majority of survey respondents support this initiative. Many hazardous waste materials, such as antifreeze and used paints, are included in BC's regulated EPR programs, and they are not allowed in the landfill. However, There are currently limited collection options for many hazardous waste in many parts of the region, and we want to increase these collection options and offer collection events in targeted communities, prioritizing areas with limited options. We will consider permanent drop-off locations so that we can protect our environment and keep dangerous materials out of our landfills. We want to pilot a permanent collection option and establish more locations if this pilot is successful. Our current Have Your Say survey has so far showed strong public support for the regional district to focus on improving the collection of household hazardous waste. Organic waste that ends up in our landfills create methane, and that's a potent greenhouse gas. And roughly 30% of landfill waste is made up of compostable organics, such as food and yard waste. We want to minimize the amount of organics going to landfills. Yard and wood waste is accepted at many of our solid waste facilities, and we're currently piloting small-scale composting. And if the pilots are successful, we want to expand this initiative to more facilities. We then want to work to accept more organic waste for composting at our facilities. Industrial, commercial, and institutional waste, or ICI waste, is accepted at our 3 landfills. This waste makes up 75% of the landfill waste at these sites and includes construction and demolition waste. So while this sector already recycles a range of different materials, more can be done. We want to help businesses reduce the waste through forums and workshops. And for example, we can provide information on how to improve waste diversion. We also want to encourage recycling by providing incentives for businesses to bring sorted waste to the landfill for recycling rather than bringing mixed waste for landfilling. Tipping fees for garbage, metal, wood, and other materials are based on weight when visiting the landfill. So we plan to increase the overall ICI tipping fees for mixed waste while keeping fees for sorted waste lower in order to encourage recycling. So based on the Have Your Say survey, we have so far seen that 60% of the respondents either strongly agree or agree with this move to increase ICI tipping fees, while close to 30% disagree or strongly disagree. So we are really interested to hear from more residents and businesses what you think. Construction and demolition waste, or C&D waste that it's also called, is part of the ICI waste stream. And it does make up 21% of the total waste received at the regional district's landfill. A lot of this waste ends up in our landfills, but it could actually be recycled. Clean wood waste and asphalt shingles are not landfilled when they come to the facility already segregated. So these materials can be used at the landfills for different operational applications. We still see that these materials make up a large part of the landfilled C&D waste. Clean wood waste and asphalt shingles make up 31% of the landfilled C&D waste. So the regional district wants to improve reuse and recycling of C&D waste by providing information on recycling options and also having lower tipping fees for segregated waste that can be recycled, and also by looking at new recycling options, for example, for drywall and carpets. And this strategy has so far in our Have Our Say survey had overwhelming support. So in the last presentation, I'll be speaking about what's planned for energy recovery and waste management and the funding of our system. So I hope that you've had a chance to listen to my first presentation about the background to the Regional Solid Waste Management Plan. And from this presentation, I hope that you now have a better understanding of what's planned to divert more waste from landfilling through reuse, recycling, and composting. But we want to make sure that the plan will work for you. What do you like? Have we missed anything? To have your voice heard, use the website link on the screen, attend one of our virtual open houses where you can have a chance to ask your questions, or you can take the Have Your Say survey. So please visit haveyoursay.prrd.bc.ca. Thank you for watching.